Really grateful, really proud of our team, proud of how we continue just to learn from what does the game teach us and how do we respond, especially in the second half. Just really thankful for another chance to earn a 1-0, and that's really all I'm focused on. I just feel like, I was just thinking this morning, I was writing in my prayer journal, I just was like, how lucky am I? To coach amazing young women, to be on the biggest stages, and to have a staff that serves people so selflessly. So I'm just a thankful person, excited to coach another game.
All right, we have questions for student athletes. A reminder, if you can raise your hand, we'll get a microphone to you. When you're asking your questions, speak as close to the mic as you can. That'll help mitigate the feedback. And if you can direct questions to specific student athletes, that's helpful too. Questions?
Alexa Philpoot, ESPN. Lauren, I'm going to read this stat to you. You're the first D1 player to have 30 points, 10 rebounds, 80% shooting from the field in back-to-back games over the last 20 seasons. Any game, doesn't matter, tournament, conference tournament, regular season. So how would you describe what your mindset has been this tournament, the last few games in particular, and what's allowed you to do that?
Honestly, I feel like ever since our loss to SC, I've just completely changed my mindset going forward. I think just being aggressive no matter what and doing whatever I need to do to help my team and just continuing to be positive regardless of what happens. And I think, Ole Miss is a really aggressive, scrappy team, and I think that tonight I just, kind of assume like I'm not going to get any calls, but like no matter what, I'm just going to continue to play my game, and I just think that helped me throughout the game. But I mean, that's insane. Like, I'm just obviously very grateful, and honestly, the only reason any of that is happening is honestly because of the program that I'm in and the people I'm surrounded by, and these coaches believe in me, and that's the reason why I play the way I play. So.
Kiki and Lauren, Kurt Sandoval with ABC7 in LA. Second consecutive game, you guys were close at the half and you pull away. What did you specifically learn from this game that you can apply moving forward?
Kiki, let's start with you.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing we talked about at halftime and we'll need to carry on to next game is rebounding. Ole Miss is a great rebounding team. So is LSU. They have some great rebounders on their team. So I think just focusing on how can we, excel in that area and dominate the boards both offensively and defensively, because we're going to need that, in order to win going forward.
Sabrina Merchant, The Athletic. Lauren, you had that offensive foul kind of early in the game when you returned, and I think you came out and then came back in. Was there any sort of just mental reset you needed to do, or just needed to blow and then, right back to dominating?
I just needed to breathe. I was dying a little bit in the first half. It was just such a fast-paced game, but I think that Coach Shannon just pretty much told me just deeper seals so that you don't even have to put the ball on the floor. I'm playing against smaller posts, so I really don't need to do too much. Just turn and shoot. So.
Nancy Armour, USA Today Sports. Kiki, you guys started the second half. London hit a 3. You had 2 quick baskets, and it was basically you guys were kind of off to the races then. What were they doing differently, or was that just all of your mindset that we need to get off to a fast start and we need to, just put the foot on the gas?
Yeah, I think it was the adjustments we made at halftime. We felt like we're better than 1 point, better than Ole Miss. That was a score at the half, but we needed to come out and just play our game. Like I said, rebound the ball, take care of the ball, and just continue to follow the game plan. But I think it was kind of a little bit of a mindset shift and just, going out there, being tough. They played really hard and they play really hard. So we'll need to continue to do that at a consistent basis, not just starting in the second half, but from the tip.
Thank you. Hi, Kendra Andrews, ESPN. Lauren, in addition to some of the offensive numbers that Alexa read off there, you held Ole Miss players to 2 of 13 shooting when you were the contester. Just what was your mindset on the defensive end tonight and having that two-way performance?
I think I take a lot of pride in my defense. Oh, there we go. I take a lot of pride in my defense. That's something that, the coaches have always held me accountable to, and I think that's something that I just try to bring to my team, is that like competitive edge when it comes to defending. And even in practice, I just like to bring as much energy as I can. But I think that, if the guards are getting hit through screens, like any way that I can help them out, I think that's what I'm going to do, and that's just something that I've always brought to this team. But yeah, so.
Eden Lassie, Hoops HQ. Lauren, the last time that UCLA was in the Elite Eight, Michaela Onyeweide was on the team. Just what's your relationship like with her, and what's it like to share that accomplishment with another Grandview graduate?
I love Michaela so much. Obviously, she's from where I'm from in Colorado, and she went to my high school, and I look up to her so much. And so to be where obviously she's at is just like such a huge accomplishment for me and this team. And I'm just so proud of all these girls. I mean, we've worked so hard to get here, and I'm just so proud of the selflessness. I think that, to get to this point, like, it doesn't matter who's having their best game, it's just getting wins at the end of the day. So it took a lot of grit from everybody tonight, but I'm so proud of this program.
Kiki, this was your guys' third try at a Sweet 16, and to finally get over that hump and get a win. Just what does that do for you guys mentally to know that there's no curse or anything, but also just how's it feel?
For sure gives us a lot of confidence. I mean, we all expected to be here though, so it's we're obviously glad we have the opportunity to play again and play on Sunday, but we expected to be in this position, and it'll be a good opportunity for all of us who were on this team last year, because LSU is the team that knocked us out. So obviously we want to come out, play hard, and play really well against them, but we're just excited for the next game.
Tuning to win with the LA Times, Kiki. What is it like for this junior class, particularly has gone through a few different iterations, added a few people, but for you, London and Gabs, to stay together from freshmen to juniors, like, what is it like going on this journey with them?
Yeah, it's everything. I mean, I think the best part about, these few years at UCLA have been the friendships and my teammates and just all the experiences that we've had. So, just to go out there and we came here to, make this program and continue to help us get better and to get to the Elite Eight, to get to the Final Four, to win a national championship, and, to know that we're taking the steps in the right direction. It means a lot to us, and we just have to, thank everyone, all our coaches, everyone in the program, all of our donors, everyone who's involved, and we're just grateful to be in the opportunity.
I have time for 2 more questions, if there are any.
Miss Rice, I noticed you had some words for your teammate by the end of the game, and I just want to know, while up double digits, what kind of mistakes are you looking for in a team like yourself, or like your own?
Yeah, I mean, I think even though we were up a little bit at the end, I think it's continuing to be, as mistake-free as possible, and to not make mental errors, because those are the ones that, when we get in closer games, we're going to need down the stretch. And I think, obviously, we're not going to, play an errorless game, but I think to continue to cinch up all the small things and to have great communication, to bounce back really well from any small things. But as the point guard and as the leader of this team, I have to continue to help everyone get on the same page, and I'll take responsibility for a lot of those errors, but I'll continue to hold everyone accountable as well.
For Kiki, obviously you're focused on the result while you're in the game, but are you ever able to appreciate in the moment, oh my God, what in the world is Lauren doing? What's it like being on the court? Is that's going on,
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm honestly pretty used to it at this point. She's just so dominant. I see it every day in practice, and I know you guys don't see it, but it's just every single day she comes with the same consistency, and she's just so great. So I think, when we do get in games, it's just throw the ball up to Lauren. She'll score, get me an assist. But I think just having her on my team, I'm so grateful to have her on my team and not be playing against her.
All right, we say thanks to the student athletes, and we'll let them depart the stage. And once they leave, we'll open up to questions for Coach. Thank you, guys. See you all tomorrow. Bye. Questions for Coach.
Kendra Andrews, ESPN. Lauren's efficiency tonight, just what stood out to you about whether it was her shot selection or just the pure dominance that she displayed? It seems like she could get any kind of shot that she wanted.
Yeah, and there's been maybe only they tried to double a few times, but for the most part, they played one-on-one with Lauren, and they relied on their pressure on our guards to try to make that difficult. And they did a few times, but every time out, you could tell they were like, just get Lauren touches, something good's going to happen. And it's not just she made the one mistake where she took an extra dribble and they came on the turnover, but outside of that, when they came with two, we went inside out for the three, and were successful at that. So, it's just one of those things. You have a generational player on your team. She's not only dominant for herself, but she makes everybody on the floor better. And so you just want to put the ball in her hands as many ways and as many times as possible. One of the other adjustments that we made in the second half is credit to Ole Miss's defense. One of the best ways we get Lauren the ball is from a different offensive set that we just were not able to create enough catches and ball reversals to do that. So we just said, hey, we're going to play through the middle of the floor and try to get all kinds of different ways to go high-low. And that made a huge difference because it's a lot harder to double team when you're entering the ball from the middle of the floor or from the slots. And so that was a good adjustment. That credit to my coaching staff that is always giving me great suggestions in game. But, Lauren is a dominant player on both sides of the ball, and she has been. And I think that's why she's one of the top players in the country, and that's why she makes us better, and that's why we're in the Elite Eight.
Hey, Coach. David Yapkowitz from The Next. I wanted to ask you about Kendall. You played her a pretty few minutes tonight. Played her against Richmond in the round of 32. Just obviously there's going to be a little hiccups, as a freshman, but just what have you seen from her out of this season, and just kind of how do you see her role shaping up as you go on?
Well, I think both Kendall Dudley and Elena Arnicello they were really key for us. I mean, Elena played almost 19 minutes against a pressure team. And then Kendall came in and played almost 7.5. And, they've done the work. I trust them. I think they know who we are and what we're about, especially when I feel like we need a spark. Kendall Dudley does it with her defense. She gets a loose ball. She gets it with a rebound. She really understands how to be a great cutter. A lot of people double off of her and try to do that. Well, she's just been a surgeon with how she's found seams. And if you're going to do that, fine. I'm going to create cuts to the basket off of that. But I'm proud of all of our new players, and even the ones that aren't getting rewarded in games. They're doing their work to get better every day. And that's what I ask of our players. Every day you have a responsibility to intentionally grow, and you have a responsibility to give to your team. And, they've all done that. But, Kendall Dudley, this is a huge compliment. I think she's our next Gabriela Jaquez. In the way she affects the game. And she just keeps working and working, but I really believe, and that's high praise, because Gabs is one of the toughest, most influential scoring players that we never run a play for, and I really believe that Kendall will take the baton from her and play that exact level of impact on our team.
Sports. Cori, you guys did it against Richmond, and again tonight you go on these really quick scoring runs that pile up points and kind of flip the momentum in the game. How dangerous does that make a team when you have the ability to do that? Not just that you have the different options, but that you guys can score as quickly as you did.
Well, but it all came off our defense, right? And it's because of Ole Miss is such a good defensive team. When we're able to get stops and rebounds, we're able to execute and make them play in space and, do some things offensively that are harder when we have to take it out of the basket and go versus their press and all of those things. So, but it's so huge. That's why it turns so quickly, is it's turning defense into offense. And so that's really where we've got to hang our hats, and we still have room to grow. I really challenged our guards after the game about our ball screen defense and what we're going to have to do versus Williams and Flagey, and then our rebounding. We gave up 20 boards, and we're about to play one of the second leading double person in NCAA history in Morrow. So we still got room to grow, and we got things we got to step into. But that is how we're built, is defense and rebounding, and that makes our offense and all of our weapons just shine more.
Hi, Coach Close, Kurt Sandoval, ABC7. You've always talked about learning and learning and learning. In a short window where you play Sunday at noon, is learning about what happened tonight that you put, or is it film study? If you can kind of take me through that.
It's a little bit of both, right? It's learning and responding. Like, okay, what is the team going to need me to do in responding to what happened? Like, how do I be a better box out player? How can I show up for my team just a little bit better? So it's responding to what the game taught. And then every scout provides a learning opportunity. And this is where I actually really draw on our participation in the Pac-12 because every weekend was like this. So in fact, even in the Big Ten this year, which I'm so proud to be a part of, the reality for us is we would treat second games in a road trip or second games with one-day preps, even if we had more time, just because we know we're preparing for such a time as this. And so I feel like it's what we've been practicing. Our team is really good at learning from film. Obviously, we're not going to be on our feet very much. But the scouting report versus LSU, number one, as Lauren referred to, they beat us last year, or maybe Kiki said that. But two, it's a very hard scouting report to execute, but it's not complicated. So from that perspective, I think, it's really going to be about a gut check and a level of focused concentration over a 40-minute period. So we started really well tonight. We had a really good third quarter, but can we have more poise and consistency in the middle of the fight? And those are some things we got to respond to and get better.
We have time for 2 more questions.
Congrats, Cori. So the adjustments you make at halftime, how do you get a team? Because this is like this third quarters have been going on for weeks now, actually. what is it that you get them? How do you get it to sink in?
I always say that if I'm going to take credit for adjustments at halftime, then I have to take responsibility why we didn't do it better for the whole first half. So, number one, I have an elite staff. So right away, we're talking about, okay, how do we make the adjustment to be able to play through the middle of the floor better? What is that going to look like? In this case right here, Coach JC was his scout, so I went immediately to him, like, what do you think our response needs to be? I really rely on whoever person that was their scout to, like, let's work through the 2 to 3 things that we need to tweak at halftime to come out and play better. But, I really do. Like, every time someone says that, I'm like, well, I'm sure a screw up in the first half then, so I just think it's a matter of every timeout, every opportunity, can I be there for my team? And whatever that looks like, to be there for them, to help them see the game or see it through a lens that maybe they're not seeing it through, or make an adjustment that maybe they couldn't make on their own. But, our job is to prepare and empower them and then to adjust and equip them as the game goes along. And it's our privilege to do so.
There's a lot of really good teams in the country, but I feel like championship teams require a great player. And I'm wondering, like, when did you realize Lauren could be that great player, and how has it been to just watch her sort of deliver on what you believed in her?
Well, I think, I think that throughout the Big Ten, and shout out to the Big Ten in terms of having 12 teams in the NCAA tournament, and the Big Ten has prepared us. But watching her play all the different styles of play throughout the Big Ten and finding a way to be dominant in so many different styles. This is a lot like playing SC, the style, the grinded out, very physical game. But then, we were pushed to the brink by Iowa. We were, just all these different examples, and I get in trouble when I name too many. But the reality is that whether the game was spread you out like Richmond, and she's shown she can do that and switch and play people out there. She's so smart. It didn't take long to figure out what she could become. And I think it's been very well documented that it's really the courage of her inner work that she's been willing to do, that few adults are courageous to do. And she inspires me in terms of how she's willing to attack things that are getting in her way. And I think, last year she almost got too good too quick, and that's been sort of documented that was really hard. Well, she's now done all the work in this offseason to now be equipped to be that good. And I knew last year she could become that, but now she's equipped from the inside out to sustain that. And she's just an amazing player on both sides of the ball, and she makes everybody else around her better.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you all for your help. Appreciate you being here.